This is the Rolling with Tate podcast. I'm your host, Tasia, aka Tate, and this is a Tate Short episode 30. It has been a minute. The last time I recorded a Tate Short or published a Tate Short was in April. And the last time I recorded and published episodes was right after the Harlem skyscraper. And that was June 6th. June 15th? June 15th. So I released a series of episodes back to back to back. And that's it. And it is now August. So a lot's been going on, kind of, sort of. Working, training for my second duathlon, feeling unmotivated to record and post episodes and all that jazz, and just life, trying to find a balance. But I owe it to the people who listen and watch, and I wanted to record an episode. So the last Tate Short, I was talking about Hyrox and how I was thinking about doing it. So I volunteered at the end of May for the Hyrox that was in New York. And it was so cool. I am definitely going to do a Hyrox. I actually got a free entry because I volunteered. So I plan to do one next May. I think it'll be in May. But whatever the next one they have in New York, I plan to do that. And they usually have them around the same time. So towards the end of May, beginning of June. And my cousin said she'll do it with me, so we're doing a doubles. But yeah, Hyrox was the energy. I see why people like it. Just being there is, I suggest if you can come and actually listen. I do it next year in New York. I think tickets for the spectators are like $20. But guess what? You can volunteer for free, right? And do like me, either get a ticket to do a Hyrox in the future, or just volunteer and then stay and watch, people do the Hyrox. But yeah, they had vendors, they had food vendors and vendors so you could buy clothing. I purchased a watch. Can you see it? Purchased a watch. Yeah, it was really cool. I see why it's popular. And this gives my cousin and I enough time to train, because we had planned to do one in November. So we were either going to Dallas or Chicago. I really don't want to travel, and during that time it's cold in Chicago. So we'll just do it at home. We'll do it in May, beginning of June. But yeah, I would definitely highly recommend, if anybody's like, I don't know if I want to do this, volunteer, right? Then you get a chance to see what it's all about. And after you see what it's all about, then you try it for free. So yeah, I'm gonna do a Hyrox. What else has been going on? I was supposed to do the women's Philadelphia Tri, July 13th, but I had to work, so I couldn't do it. I was sad. Shout out to the ladies of Black Girls Do Bike NYC. A number of them participated in the triathlon. I was going to just do a duathlon sprint, but some of them did duathlon, some of them did the triathlon, some of them might have even done the relay. But shout out to those ladies who did that. I missed it, and I did want to do it, but at that point of, say, beginning of June, I hadn't started training. So then I got a job offer And then it was kind of like, most likely I'm not going to do this. But I will. I do plan to do that sometime in the near future, because I heard it's a really good event, and I want to do it. But speaking of duathlons, I'm currently training for my second duathlon. I did this duathlon last year in Central Park. I'm doing it again. 2.2 mile run, 12-mile bike, 2.2 mile run. Last year it was a 10-mile bike because they were doing construction on Central Park, so we didn't do the full loop. But this year we are 2 full loops around Central Park. Today actually I went to Central Park and trained. I did 2 laps around Central Park. Try to put some speed to it. My average speed was 16 miles per hour, and I got done, did the 12 miles in I think like 45 minutes, which is good. The duathlon is on the 24th of August, so I have some time to do some more training. Actually, my friend Rachel and I try to go to Central Park at least once a week and do some training. So I did my 2 loops, and then Rachel was there doing some like zone 2 training. So zone 2 is like easy pace endurance, like you can do this for a long time type training. So then I did 2 laps with her, easy pace. We're talking, we're having a conversation, no real like exertion. So all in all, for my training today, I did 24 miles, and that was at a slower pace, 12 miles per hour, which is still good, but wasn't like killing myself on the hills, wasn't doing any of that. So 16 miles per hour, 45 minutes, I think that's really good, but I'm coming off of a run. My strong point is the bike. So I want to try to make up as much as I can on my bike, because the runs are going to kill me. And yeah, runs. I give kudos to the runners, because your girl, I don't care for it. Let me not say I don't care for it. It's hard for me to run. I haven't reached that runner's high. I haven't reached that point where it's just like, I love this, right? And maybe it's a mental thing, because I'm like, I don't want to do this, I see running is kind of like a chore, because I wouldn't choose to go run, if that makes sense. Like, I would choose to go ride my bike. I would choose to go skate. Running, I'm only running because of these events that I'm participating in. If running wasn't part of it, I would probably still maybe run like once a week, a mile or something, right? Just to switch it up. But I wouldn't run as often. I wouldn't, I don't know. I have this like, I don't even know if I could say love-hate relationship, because I don't love it. Love or like hate relationship with running. I don't know. All jokes aside, I do think running is cool, and it is, again, I give kudos to runners, because I think that is really like, for you to run, and for you to run far and long and fast, it's just like, no, how you do it. But I do have events where I'm running a lot, so maybe I will get that runner's high. Maybe I will find it and be like, this is it. This is what they feel. This is why they do this. I did run a couple weeks ago, and I ran, I think 5 miles, or 4 or 5 miles, and that was long. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. But it was at like a zone 2, very slow pace. The endurance part of it. Like, I wasn't going for speed. I wasn't going for it. It was just for like distance. And I'm like, okay, I think I could do this. But when I run regular and try to, get a good time and pace, and it's just, I don't know. So, and I think that's why I like trail running, because it takes that pressure off of your pace, right? And you're outdoors in nature, versus the city. And you are, I see different things, and it's not about pace. For me, it's not like I'm a super trail runner either. I've done a handful of races. Well, actually 3, so, but I just like it a little better because it's not about, for me, going fast. And I look at like road running more as going fast. So I think I just have to change my mindset on running in general, and go at my own pace. Literally, go at your own pace. But yeah, I'm doing a few events. So this duathlon on the 24th, I may do a triathlon, right? A triathlon. Check out the interview I did with Cree. And she spoke about the triathlon that she did with her daughter, and it's kayak, bike, and run. I've only kayaked a handful of times, but I'm like, oh, I think I could do this. So it's kayaking, and then it's biking. I got the biking down, and then it's the run. So I might do that. Then I'm doing a 5K in Atlanta. Shout out to Daryl. Check out his interview. His interview was really good. And he said he's going to Atlanta to run, and I said, okay, guess I'm going too. So it's just a 5K, and for me, that's what I'm doing. But they also have a half marathon, but I'm doing a 5K. Okay, I'm more running. Then, which I don't know what's wrong with me, I'm going to Miami to the Miami Inline Skate Marathon, and I'm doing a run and a skate. So I'm doing a 10K, and then I'm doing a half marathon on skates. A 10K run and a half marathon skates. More running, then skating. What am I? I do like a challenge, as you can probably tell. And as I was riding my bike this morning in Central Park with the different cyclists and the runners that are outside at 6:30 in the morning, because that's what time I was there, part of me is like, why are you out here? I'm out here because I'm training, right? Would I be out here if I wasn't training? That's the question I have for myself. And then for them, what are they training for something? If you're not training for something, what are you doing, right? Is it just for your health? Is it just for your mental clarity? Is it for your physical health? Is it for your mental health? Fun? I'm gonna tell you, going to Central Park and doing loops and going up Harlem Hill, that's not fun to me. For me. Give me a flat road any day. That, and then do it in multiple times, consider that fun. But for me, training, it's good training. Not only because the duathlon is in Central Park, but because it's training me. It's like, it's making me stronger. Those hills, and doing things that I wouldn't normally do. When I was talking to my friend this morning, last year when I was training for the duathlon, I think I went to Central Park maybe twice. And I trained longer, right? This time I've gone to Central Park since I think we started doing this in April. I mean, we missed the weeks, but we've been pretty consistent with going since from April till August. You know, this is probably the most I've been in Central Park on my bike in one season. So, um, yeah, I just have like questions for those people who are out there running. I saw a lot of run groups. I saw people running by themselves. I saw older people. I saw, you know, younger people like in their 20s running. Same thing with the cyclists. Now, if you're not from New York, or if you even if you are from New York and you're like, oh yeah, I want to go out there, I want to go to Central Park. From like 5:30 to 8, that's when you'll have the cyclists and the runners, and then after that you'll have tourists, more tourists, and like, you know, you'll see people commuting to work, and then it after that anything is fair game, like people going the opposite way. It's listen, if you just want to like ride or run and just, you know, I suggest you go early. You go a little later, you have tourists. Nothing wrong with the tourists, but some of them are just, it's like the Wild Wild West out there. So just be prepared if you go later. Yeah. So for me, back to what I was saying, yes, I'm doing this for training, but it's also, I see it's making me stronger as a cyclist, and just like mentally doing this hard thing that I don't necessarily want to do, and getting up early so we can make it back in time for work, or, you know, before the day gets away from us. So we've already done 3 laps before 8:30, 9 o'clock. And that's just us. Who knows how long these other cyclists have been out here? You know, how many laps have they done? How many laps have the runners done? You know, the walkers, people who are out there just walking, you know? So yeah, I wonder about that sometimes. And like for me, everything that I'm doing is, it's like I'm challenging myself. And sometimes I need that, because if I didn't have this challenge of the duathlon, would I really be going to Central Park? Maybe, because I started going in April and I really wasn't training. But I don't know. Would I? But I like having these events to look forward to train towards. And after these events are over, I still want to train. Right? What's that saying? Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Right? Stay consistent with training. Now, I'm not saying I'll be at Central Park all the time, but okay, get on that bike and ride. Speaking of my bike, you know, my friend and I were talking about this morning. That bike wasn't cheap, so I better get my money's worth from my bike. I better be riding it everywhere. That wasn't a cheap bike. So yes, maybe I will be riding after all this training is done on that bike, because I want to get my money's worth out of it. Yeah, definitely do. So switching topics a little bit. This past weekend was the Big Apple Roll. Big Apple Roll is this big skate event in New York City put on by the Empire Skate Club. And a lot of people were here. A lot of people. I only went to one event. So I think they actually started on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You know, they went through the whole week. And I heard Friday night they had over 650 people. 650 people skating around the city. That is amazing. I went to the Mega Skate on Saturday and it was a lot of people. It was a lot. It was a lot. We skated up to the Bronx from Manhattan. I didn't do the whole route. They were doing 26 miles. And with the training that I'm doing and what I had planned the next day, I wasn't trying to kill my legs. I wish I could have finished, but I'm just not trying to overdo it. But it was so cool, like for the skaters, for the people out of town, get a chance to come uptown, come to the Bronx, because people go to Manhattan, they go to Brooklyn, they go to Queens, but they hardly come to the Bronx. So I'm glad that they did. They got a chance to see a little bit of the best borough. So yeah, shout out to them and shout out to all the people. Florida, they were in there deep. Shout out to Florida. They had a lot of skaters from Florida. They represented. Yeah, shout out to the Big Apple Roll. It was a great time. If you are into skating, whether it's quads, inline skates, there were a couple skateboarders out there too. Come through. I saw this guy. He has parents with him. He was on skates. His parents were on city bikes. And they were just like, how'd you even find out about this? That was so cool to see. Young man in his, I guess, I want to say 20s. His parents were just on the city bikes, happy too. Like, this is amazing. It was so many people out there, and as we were skating through the streets, so many people were like showing us love, honking at us. It was good. I'm glad I got a chance to do the Mega Skate on Saturday. Super dope. And yeah, I have to buy some new skates because skating event, I in October, so I need to get ready for that as well. It's like I'm getting ready for a lot. I'm getting ready for a lot. But luckily, it's like sort of back to back to back. The 24th, then I have about a month to get ready for the next event if I decide to do it. I'm still undecided on the triathlon. I think it's really a really cool idea. And I just have to click the button and buy the ticket. But I do have some time before the price goes up. And then the 5K. Since I'm running, I should be, conditioned enough to do good with the 5K. And then the Miami skates and run. I just don't know. I just couldn't pick one thing. I just couldn't say, oh, I'm just going to do the half marathon. No, I had to say, I'm going to skate and do the half marathon. I mean, I'm going to run and do the half marathon. Because I think it's such a cool idea to do both, right? And it's definitely a challenge for me. They actually had, I think they also had maybe 10K and you do a full marathon on skates. And I know I'm not about that life. So let me just do the half. So I have to get ready for that. But yeah, I just want to do a quick Tay short, even though this is not that short. But yeah, if you're thinking about doing any duathlons or triathlons, let me know. Let me know what's out there. I'm up for a challenge and I'll travel. You see, I'm going to Miami. You see, I'm going to Georgia. I like to travel to events, and I do want to get more into the multi-sport, do more multi-sport events, and I think it's important for women and women of color to be in these spaces. And before I wrap up, I wore my, if you could see it, okay, Black Girls Do Bike cycling kit. And as I'm riding my bike, and at some points I'm going fast. We talking about 21 miles per hour. Fast, fast, fast. Now I wasn't going as fast as the Peloton, but I was holding my own, you know? And I'm just thinking about representation, right? I didn't see when I was riding around, not to say there wasn't any black women out there, but I didn't see at the time when I was riding any black women. So it's like, okay, I'm out here, majority of them were men, white men, you know? So I didn't even see many white women or any other race of women when I was first there. Now again, there probably were, but as I was going around, I didn't. But as I'm riding, I'm like, I'm representing this organization. I'm representing women of color. I'm representing, people who look like me out on this bike. And I think that's the representation part of is important. Even if I was going slow as molasses, I'm out there at 6:30 in the morning riding my bike. But I wanted to show that, there is space for us in this space, right? This is, even though it's a male dominant sport, women should be included. Women of color should be included in this space. And we can ride fast. We can race. We can do all disciplines in the cycling world, cyclocross, gravel, crit racing, and long distance cycling, or whatever it is. There are people that look like me doing that, and I think and who want to do that. So I hope, by being out there, maybe somebody saw me and it's like, oh man, okay, what does BGDB mean? Okay, it's a black woman. She's out there at 6:30 in the morning, going pretty fast. Okay. Yeah, black women do ride bikes, because that's the misconception that I don't know why people still have, but I can see how that we're not on bikes, we're not doing these things, so I want to, not just me, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that should change. And if I could play a little part in it, and being out there early, trying to ride fast with the guys, or not even trying to keep up with them, but just out there doing my own thing. My friend Rachel is Filipino. Like, so we're out here representing, communities that aren't always represented in these spaces. You know what I'm saying? Yes, there are Filipino riders. Yes, there's black riders. Yes, there's Latino riders. But you know what I'm saying? We just want to be seen. But shout out to all the cyclists that go out there 5:30 in the morning just to ride. They're not training for anything. They're just going out there to ride. And I think that is super cool. And yeah, I think that's super cool that they just go out there and ride, just cause. There's no training. There's nothing. Hey, you want to go ride? Yeah. Or you're just riding by yourself. I'm just gonna go to Central Park and ride before work. So I rambled on enough. I will try to be more consistent with publishing videos and interviews. I made a list of people that I want to interview. I just haven't reached out to them yet, and that's part of the procrastination. I'm a procrastinator. I am getting better at it, but sometimes it's just I can admit that. They say the first step was like being honest. Oh, I can admit that. But you'll be happy to know that I stopped drinking soda and I stopped eating candy. So just had to throw in something positive at the end. Thank you for listening and watching. This is the Rolling with Tay podcast. And I'm your host, Tasia, aka Tay. I will see you on the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.